Hey, what's up, guys? It's Luke, and you're watching Luke the Gathering. Thanks for checking out the channel once again and hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Today's another Friday for me. Today's Friday, and we had Friday Night Draft. We had Murders at Karlov Mansion draft. I really like this set. It feels really bomby, but I do feel like there are less and less people drafting this set. Last week was the first draft of the set, and we had a smaller than normal crowd, and this week was even smaller. It just seems to me people aren't into this set, or maybe it's a weird time of the year, but I just feel like people aren't showing up for the game. So for whatever reason, attendance has been less at the card store. I also heard, I watched a lot of Magic content on YouTube, and sales for this set have been very bad. At least that's what I've heard. So I don't know how concerning that is in terms of the Magic ecosystem, but it kind of sucks that people aren't really super jazzed about this set, at least not right now, and that the prices are just dropping. For me, that probably means I'll maybe buy a little bit more, since it's going to be way cheaper than it would have been. And I just like having a good amount of cards from every set. In that way, I'm sort of a collector of the cards, but it just doesn't seem to be too popular, even though, like I said, I really enjoy the format. In terms of today, I went 1 and 2. I was a little sad about that. All my games went to game 3. The games were close. I mean, we both had our bombs, for sure. This is a very bomby set, at least from my experience. And the bombs are fun to play with, and when you get them, you win. Like, when I got my bombs out, I won. When they got their bombs out, they won. Unfortunately, they got their bombs out a little bit more than I did. There were a few hands that I felt like, man, I should have just mulliganed them, because I remember keeping a hand with, 6 lands and 1 playable card. That was probably not a great decision on my part. But I always end up, if I have more lands than not, sometimes I'll just decide, hey, I'll just go for it. But it didn't work out for me, and that's okay. We learn. I tend to make these kind of mistakes, unfortunately, and it does cost me these games. The games are extraordinarily close, and the decisions you make, they greatly affect the outcome of the game. And so that's actually one of the reasons I love playing Magic, because every decision seems to be so critical. But in any case, I ended up with 2 prize packs to open up at the end. I have my deck here. Let's just take a look at what I got and see what the deck was all about. All right, here are the cards that I drafted. We have Scene of the Crime, first of all. Enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to add colorless. And then you can tap an untapped creature you control to add a mana of any color. That's cool. You can also have 2, then sacrifice Scene of the Crime, draw a card. That seems pretty cool. In fact, what I did was you can tap this to add colorless, and then you have 1 in the pool, and then you just tap something else for the other one, and you can sacrifice it. So for 1 mana, you can really just get that card draw, which I thought was kind of funny on this card. My opponent grabbed the card and was like, hey, let me check that out, and they were like, oh, okay, I guess so. Kind of a weird little thing, but kind of nice. Also helps you fix your mana. This was a card I had in my sideboard, but ended up putting in the main deck in one of the games, because I just think this card is really versatile for 1 mana. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact, or they sacrifice an enchantment, or they sacrifice a creature with flying. And the enchantment one and the flying one, those were big deals. And so it was great. I really liked using this card. Tunnel Tipster, love this guy. This guy's awesome, especially when you have face-down creatures. This thing gets +1/+1s at the end of turn. Plus, it's a mana dork. I wish I had more of these, but these guys were getting gobbled up as the packs were passed around the table. I also like that Tin Street Gossip 4/4 is a really good stat line for this set. Can block really well. It can just go in for damage because it has Vigilance, and you can tap it to help you cast face-down things. And in red-green, face-down is big time important, because there's a lot of creatures and cards that do that, and some are very expensive because they're large. This guy is incredible for that. I love the combat tricks in this set. Combat tricks are so important because the removal is a bit diminished in this set. And so combat tricks, I think, are at a premium. Fanatical Strength is great on offense. Creature gets +3/+3, gains trample. Really helps you get that damage through. Flourish and Bloomkin is really a fun card. I like this a lot. Its power is equal to how many forests you have. It gets you like 2 forests, 1 into play, 1 into hand, if you turn it over from disguising it. And it just feels great. It's a cool card. I wouldn't put it down for its 2 casting costs unless it was like pretty late in the game. Chases On, another great combat trick. I like this one better on defense because they're not expecting it, and then boom, they attack with like a big creature. You see that they might have tapped out. You give your creature first strike and +3. You get to investigate as well. Wow, really good. Alright, Convenient Target, also really nice. This is an enchantment. You give something +1/+1 for 1 mana. That's really a fun deal. And then later in the game, you can return this from the graveyard to your hand when you have lots of mana and you just need to find some advantage, some edge to get a hold of. This is the card that can do that. I'm not a huge fan of the Defenestrated Phantom. It's a 4/3 flyer. I don't like the 3 stat line there. Costs 6 mana. You can disguise it. Have it come up for 5. 4 and a white, But I don't know. It seems fragile to me and never really does a ton of work. Offender at Large. Another, this is a 5-drop. Big creature. Decent. But again, not great. In fact, this guy ended up being an enemy for me because they used Jetsam to cast this and then beat me with it. I was really sad. Nervous Gardener. This is one of my favorites. It's great. Disguise it, and then you can grab some land. Great to help you fix your lands and get the colors you need. Make Your Move. There are bomb cards in this set. A lot of them have 4 power or more, and they can be hard to deal with. Make Your Move, I think, is main deckable because of that. It also gets rid of enchantments, which are relevant, as well as artifacts. Hazada Vigilante was okay. I heard this card was good, so I jammed a couple in. I actually was a little bit short on creatures, and so I was like, okay, I'll put a couple of these in. They're big, but it didn't make a huge difference, Marie, with this in the game. A little disappointed. Case of the Gateway Express, this I really liked. This can be a kill spell if you have enough creatures on the board. Because when it ETBs, however many creatures you have, they can deal 1 damage to a target creature that I don't control. This is good. 2 mana can really do a good job. Hustle and Bustle. I actually used both of these effects today. Hustle you wouldn't really feel like using, but I was down and losing a game, and I made one of their creatures attack and was able to kill it, and then at other times using Bustle to just give my whole board +2/+2 and trample, which is like a game-ending play. Ooh, I love this. This is a great bite card. It's for 1 mana. Anything for 1 mana is awesome. Just deals combat damage equal to power to a creature or planeswalker you don't control. This was great. I love Airtight Alibi. This is another, it's like a trick. It has flash, gives hexproof, gives +2/+2, and makes something not suspected anymore. This card is really good. In fact, an opponent of mine won the game on this card because I was trying to destroy a creature with power 4 or more. I thought they had a combat trick. They did. It was this, but it gives hexproof. They won. Amazing. Case of the Burning Mass deals 3 damage to a creature when it comes in. It's just great. And later on can give you some card selection. Loving this card. Crowd Control Warden. I like this one too. It's a big beefy 4/4. Turns up, you get +1/+1 counters for all the other creatures you have. Push and Pull. Pull won me a game a bunch of times today where I pulled some flyers out of the graveyard or 2 big creatures and they couldn't block everything. And Push, destroying a tap creature isn't bad at all either. Rift Burst Hellion. This is just a common, maybe not the best card, but with this other card behind it, it makes it really, really good. It's a 6/7 reach. You know, when they have flyers, they think they're going to get in. This just says no. And here it is, Yaris. Toyota Yaris. Roar of the Old Gods. 4/4. This is a crazy card. 4 mana, cheap. Other creatures you control have haste. Amazing. Whenever one or more face-down creatures you control do combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's ridiculous. And then if a face-down creature dies, you turn it over. That's crazy. Whenever I had this card out, I won. There was not a time when I lost with this card out. And so, like, a lot of times I had this guy flipped over, attacked, they would just killed it, flipped into a 6/7, and it was not fun for them. And the Lamplight Phoenix was another pick I had. Great card as well. Just kept coming back and back and back, especially with if you had enough evidence in the graveyard. With cards like Bustle and other cards, I was able to get this back. No problem. So there was a deck. It was pretty good. I enjoyed playing it. I think it could have been better. But that's Magic for you. Sideboard. Just some of the cards I got. I don't think I got any other rare. I don't think any other rare sideboard. Oh, no, I did get this. I got Kylock's Visionary Inventor as a rare in my sideboard. Nobody wanted it. This thing went around the table. 7-drop for this thing's just not worth it. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, Demand Answers is what the other card I took out for that 1 mana card that like kills a flyer or makes them sacrifice, whatever. Anyways, let's see what we get in this one. We got a news token. We got a Plains. Pompous. Gadabout. Sharp-Eyed Rookie is the rare in this pack. Pretty decent. Very good and limited for sure. Then an Agency Outfitter. Curious Cadaver. Galvanize, which is a really nice limited card. Topiary Panther. Murder. So decent limited pack. But in terms of like, is it a great pack overall? Not really. Mysterious Creature Token. I like that one. It's always useful. Mountain. Slime Against Humanity. I know someone trying to look for these. And Doorkeeper Thrall. This is the one that turns off ETBs. So this is a really annoying card. And a double rare, Outrageous Robbery. And I think that's it. Yep. That's it. So thanks for watching the video, everybody. Hopefully you're enjoying this set. This limited set. I wish more people would play, honestly. I think it'd be cool. Let me know what you think. And I will see you next time.